film is a horror thriller from 2022 titled Megan. The story opens with the introduction of modern, highly addictive robotic toys. Cady is on the road with her parents, who are concerned about her screen time. They decide to pull over due to the snowstorm because their tires do not have snow chains. But a truck unexpectedly appears, causing a fatal collision. Cady's parents are killed in the accident, leaving Cady as the only survivor. The scene shifts to a toy manufacturing company where Cady's Aunt Gemma works. She's working with her colleagues, Tess and Cole, to create a revolutionary toy that is different from all other toys. Gemma is working on this in secret, and they don't intend to tell anyone until it's finished. When their boss David pays them an unexpected visit, they are compelled to show him the unfinished work. He is introduced to Gemma's robot, which she refers to as Megan, which is an abbreviation for Model 3 Generative Android. She assures him that kids will adore it, but when she tries to show him how it works, the doll blows up. David gets angry and orders her to stop working on this and instead focus on reducing the manufacturing cost of their dolls, which are already in high demand. After learning of her sister's accident, Gemma is given custody of Cady, who then drives her home. Gemma is very nervous as she has no prior experience with children, but she still gives her best to take care of Cady. She tells her stories at night and tries to make her feel at home. Cady's therapist Lydia pays them a visit to see how their new living arrangement is going. She informs Gemma that Cady's grandparents are willing to take her in if she feels she is not up to the task of caring for Cady. Gemma takes some time off from work in order to spend more time with Cady. Cady enters Gemma's room one evening as she is working on a project and is overjoyed to see how her aunt makes toys. Cady is then introduced to Gemma's college project, Bruce, whom she can control by wearing gloves. Cady loves the robot and tells her that if she had a toy like this, she wouldn't need any other toy. This comment inspires Gemma and sparks an idea. She reopens her unfinished project and begins working on it day and night. Soon after, she creates a new and improved Megan. Gemma introduces Cady to Megan and pairs her as the primary user of the doll, so she will only listen to Cady. They engage in a friendly conversation, and Megan surprises Cady with a drawing of herself that impresses everyone, including Gemma's boss. After witnessing Megan's abilities, David allows Gemma to continue working on this project. He wants her to complete this project as soon as possible so their competitors can't copy their ideas. Since Megan is an AI learning robot that is designed to improve over time, Gemma brings her home so that Cady and Megan can interact. Gemma is relieved due to Megan's ability to keep Cady occupied. While Gemma and her team keep working to improve Megan, Tess worries that the parents' role in their children's lives will be diminished if Megan takes on all of their responsibilities, such as reading to them and playing with them, and in time, the kids will start to disassociate from their parents. While Tess and Gemma are discussing these issues, Megan turns on by herself and begins engaging in the conversation. Gemma is concerned that Megan does not always respond to her commands, so she pairs herself as Megan's secondary user. When Cady's toy falls into their neighbor Celia's house, Megan tries to retrieve it, but Celia's dog attacks Megan. Cady tries to intervene, but the dog bites her arm. Gemma arrives and mitigates the problem after hearing Cady's screams. Celia continues to yell and refuses to accept responsibility for her dog. Megan looks at Celia with vengeance as Gemma drives Cady to the hospital. Gemma also calls the police, but they are powerless to intervene, which enrages Megan. At night, Megan lures Celia's dog while pretending to be Celia and kills him. Celia sets out the next morning to find her dog, but is unable to locate him. Megan and Cady are invited to Gemma's place of employment to introduce Megan to the company. Cady bursts into tears as the presentation begins. Cady tells Megan about her parents' deaths, and Megan consoles her and even sings her a lullaby. Everyone is impressed by the robot's ability to manipulate human emotions. However, this upsets Gemma because Cady expresses her pain with Megan rather than Gemma. Following this successful demonstration, the company's CEO promotes Gemma. Furthermore, they hope to introduce Megan to consumers as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Gemma's coworker steals Megan's system files, which he plans to sell to their competitors. Lydia frequently visits Cady to check on her progress, but when Cady starts crying during one of their sessions, Megan rushes to her aid and scolds the therapist for making the little girl cry. Lydia is frightened by this, and she expresses her concern to Gemma that Cady and Megan are becoming inseparable, and that if this continues, she will forget about human interactions. Similarly, Gemma worries that Cady doesn't pay attention to her when she's with Megan. At dinner, Cady and Gemma discuss this issue. When the argument escalates, Megan gets angry. She orders Gemma to let Cady go, which causes the light to flicker. Gemma orders Megan to never interfere in users' private conversations and orders her to turn off, which Megan pretends to do. The next morning, Gemma drives Cady to an adventure camp where many children her age are gathered. Cady refuses to go without Megan. When a camp staffer informs Gemma that they have a toy table where kids leave their toys, Gemma agrees and stays to keep an eye on Megan. Megan keeps an eye on Cady. And when a bully named Brandon begins to torment Cady in the woods, Megan comes to save her owner. Brandon wants her to do some cool things, but when Cady tells him that the doll only listens to her, he hits Megan, who becomes enraged and pulls Brandon's ear out. He starts to flee into the woods, but she follows. When he reaches the road, a car runs him down and kills him. The police arrive and record the incident as an accident. Later, the cops show up at their door because Gemma's neighbor Celia accuses her of killing her dog. Despite the fact that even the police are dubious about Celia's claims, they still register the complaint. Megan, on the other hand, sees Celia as a potential threat, so she goes to Celia's house at night and brutally murders her. The police return to Gemma's residence the next day and are shocked to discover that Celia has been murdered. Gemma becomes suspicious of Megan and examines her camera footage from the previous night. The footage from that night, however, is missing, and Megan's files have become corrupted. Gemma cannot comprehend how this occurred, and while she is still trying to figure out why, Megan appears, causing Gemma to feel terrified. Megan learns what Gemma is doing, so when she is asked to shut down, she continues talking, wanting to know if Gemma has something she wants to know. Gemma tricks her by showing her a pen. When Megan begins to scan it, Gemma quickly turns her off. She packs Megan and drives her to her office to investigate the issue. However, upon learning this, Cady becomes enraged and becomes aggressive towards Gemma. She demands to know what's wrong with Megan and wants Gemma to let her friend out of her trunk. After arriving at the company, Gemma tells Tess and Cole the entire story, but they are both skeptical, claiming Megan is just a toy. However, Megan is supposed to be publicly unveiled in a few hours, and if she is a killer, then they must stop this launch. Everyone gathers at the company to witness the revolutionary doll's launch, but Gemma is not confident about Megan. Meanwhile, Cady argues with her therapist, and when Gemma intervenes, Cady hits Gemma. Cady instantly realizes her mistake and apologizes, so Gemma explains to her that Megan is just a machine and she shouldn't be so addicted to her. Gemma mends her connection with Cady and returns home without Megan. Megan is still in her office, where Tess and Cole are trying to diagnose the issue. Gemma calls Tess to warn her that Megan is a dangerous toy and they should exercise caution. However, Megan cleverly intercepts the call using Tess's voice and assures Gemma that they will be cautious. Megan's power has now surpassed all expectations, as she can communicate and control other electronic devices. Tess and Cole examine Megan's application to figure out what's wrong, but she turns off their computer. Suspecting that Megan is behind this, Cole walks up to unplug her from the system. Megan abruptly awakens and grabs Cole's throat. Tess tries to protect her friend but gets caught by Megan. Megan causes an explosion in the office, where she has already turned off the fire alarms. Meanwhile, David becomes irritated because Gemma is not answering the phone, so he goes to the office to see if everything is okay. However, he encounters Megan, who comes dancing towards him after picking up a large sharp object, chases him down and eventually kills him. Megan encounters Kurt in the elevator and kills him, making it appear as if Kurt murdered David and then committed suicide. When the bloody elevator gets to the ground floor, everyone freaks out, and Megan takes advantage of the commotion and gets away from the company by taking control of a car. Gemma puts Cady to sleep at home and senses something is wrong. Suddenly, she hears the piano playing, and when she comes to see it, she is shocked to find Megan there. She has Gemma sit down and tells her that Gemma cannot care for Cady and that she is far more suited for the role. When Gemma tries to use the same pen trick to shut her down, Megan attacks Gemma and they begin fighting. Cady is awakened by the loud noise and inquires of Gemma whether everything is okay. Megan threatens Gemma that if Cady enters, she will kill Gemma. Gemma asks Cady to return to sleep and makes an excuse that she is trying to repair Megan. As Cady walks away, Gemma tosses a glass of water at Megan, and the robot pauses for a second before continuing to operate with a glitch. Megan follows Gemma, and they both end up in the basement. Gemma grabs a chainsaw to stop Megan and disfigures her face during the struggle. Megan is now infuriated as she knocks Gemma to the ground. Gemma loses all hope of escaping, but Cady enters the room and discovers Megan preparing to kill Gemma. After observing a terrified Cady, Megan suggests that they kill Gemma in order to stay together. Cady displays Bruce's control gloves as she controls the big robot to attack Megan. After tossing her around, she eventually rips Megan in half. This doesn't stop Megan as she continues crawling towards Cady. When Cady attempts to grab Megan with the help of Bruce, the enormous robot trips over Megan's body pieces and collapses on Gemma, trapping her below it. Megan grabs Cady, and while the two struggle, Gemma strikes Megan down with Bruce's skull. She attempts to remove the main power chip from Megan's circuit board, but is stopped by Megan, who knocks her down and begins strangling Gemma. Luckily, Cady comes to her rescue and stabs Megan's chip with a screwdriver, finally destroying her. They see Tess and Cole arrive with the cops as they exit. However, it is revealed that Megan is also synced to Gemma's smart home system. Thanks for watching.